good morning. My name is Derek Garrett, class of 2003. I serve as the president of the Houston Morehouse Alumni Association. I would like to thank and welcome you all to the 11th annual Honoring Our Fathers Father's Day Brunch. The purpose of the Father's Day Brunch is to change the narrative that Black men are not fathers to their children by honoring Black fathers each year for their leadership, service to the community, and dedication to a better society. We also take this time to pave a path to manhood for the young men following our footsteps as they attend dear old Morehouse College. By raising scholarship funds for these young brothers, we will eventually be honored to call Morehouse men. I want to thank all of our sponsors, donors, volunteers, vendors, and you at home for helping make this event possible. I hope you all enjoy the program and use this opportunity to galvanize the efforts of all of those in the community around you to be a benefit to others. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm James King, Morehouse class of '09. I serve as the Community Service Outreach Chair for our Houston Morehouse Alumni Association. I want to personally thank you for your support and to all our sponsors. As a reminder, we have a silent auction items, so please go continue bidding using Qtego. We have great items such like a signed baseball by Ernie Banks, True Boy Barbecue, Perry Steakhouse wine and gift sets, and some amazing gifts for our Father's Day. So register on Qtego, keep bidding, use your phones, and bid away. And for our Houston-based winners, you can pick up your items today, right after the brunch. For supporters outside of Houston, we will ship or email your items directly to you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Terrell Bynum. I am Morehouse class of 2010 and the corresponding secretary of the Houston Morehouse Alumni Association. Dr. Timothy Sloan serves as the senior pastor of the Luke Church in Humble, Texas. He is a native of Sherman, Texas, and received his Bachelor of Arts degree from Morehouse College. He went on to receive his Master of Divinity degree from Princeton Theological Seminary. He received his Doctor of Ministry degree in Transformative Leadership from Colgate-Rochester Crozer Divinity School in Rochester, New York. Dr. Sloan relocated to Houston to serve as the Minister of Human Service Programs at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church under William A. Lawson. He later joined the staff of Interfaith Ministries for Greater Houston as the Director of Interfaith Relations. In May of 2002, he was called to serve as the senior pastor of the Luke Church. Under the leadership of Dr. Sloan, the Luke has grown from under 300 members to over 5,000. He has led the Luke Church in developing partnerships with national organizations such as the AARP, the NFL Play 60, Dairy Max, American Heart Association, and the NAACP to meet the personal and corporate needs of a growing faith community. Committed not only to local, but a global missionary vision, the Luke has directed missionary representatives to South Africa and Haiti. Dr. Sloan is also the author of Stand, Learning to Lead Through Conflict. It is the transparent story of how he led the Luke Church through the turbulent transition from a traditional to an emerging model congregation. It offers a unique and strategic vision to help leaders navigate their way through organizational conflict. Dr. Sloan has been inducted into the Martin Luther King Jr. Board of Preachers at our beloved alma mater, Morehouse College. And he is a proud member of the distinguished Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Dr. Sloan is married to Sonia M. Sloan, MD, an orthopedic surgeon, and they have 3 beautiful children, Sarah Julia, Soren Grace, and Timothy John. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Sloan.
Good morning and welcome to the Houston Morehouse College Alumni Association Virtual Father's Day Brunch. As a member of the class of 1994, I'm excited to be a participant in this year's celebration of Faces of Our Fathers. So many of these individuals, including our honorees, represent the uncommon strength, perseverance, and faith of so many men who have sought to help make our community and our global world a better place. We're not without our examples, one of which is Abram. better known as Abraham, and Father Abraham, was given a task of monumental proportion. Go to a place that I will show you. He took not only his family and tread an uncommon path, but he also took his nephew, which showed us that he modeled not just the biological fortitude of a father, but also the strength of a father figure. Because of his faith and the emotional, mental, and physical weathering that he had to endure, he helped to be a part of the birthing of a great nation. Today, each of us, celebrating that lineage, the strength and the perseverance of our fathers. That hope, that uncommon strength is evident today in so many men who are part of this celebration. And I'm privileged to salute and honor you as well. To those men of Morehouse, what an honor and joy it is to be able to celebrate with these young, inspiring, excited, young attendees of Morehouse College. My hope and prayer is that the coming time you spend on our campus will be transformative for your future. Well, let's begin with prayer. God, we are grateful for this day and for this time that we have been given. May your presence be upon us. May your Holy Spirit excite us. And may through this virtual experience, we continue to sense your presence, never failing, always assuring, and ever comforting. We thank you today for so many who join with us and whose voices we join in chorus. We honor you, we love you, and we give you glory. In the uncommon and strengthened name of Christ, we pray. Amen.
Hello and welcome to our very first virtual Father's Day brunch. I'm Executive Chef HMAA Towers, owner of Market Catering and Events. Now, those of you that have participated in our program today, thank you so much. In a few minutes, we're going to be doing what we came here to do, eat, right? Just because we're virtual doesn't mean we can't have brunch. And thank you to all our supporters that have donated either at the Houstonite level, at the Platinum level, the Elevator level, and above. All of you should have your brunch boxes. All of you should have your ingredients prepped and ready to go. And we're going to have a brunch that will be amazing, that you'll never forget. We're going to start off with one of my favorite dishes. We're going to have a Eggs Benedict flight that's going to take care of our vegetarian, but also our meat lovers, and also some smoky, savory Gouda grits. So stay tuned for more. We're going to be cooking in the kitchen with Etch Market.
The gaming industry is booming. It's a $150 billion industry. Black and brown youth consume games at a 73% rate, but Black and brown people make up less than 5% of the workforce building those games. The problem is that the industry has not invited and welcomed Black and brown youth to find where they fit. It's not clear what career possibilities exist outside of playing games professionally. The images they see of people working at the highest levels don't look like them. They can't see how to break in and navigate through. It's not clear how to get started. Black and brown youth miss out on opportunities to marry their passion to their purpose. They also miss out on getting access to high-paying jobs in the gaming industry. These jobs can help them build generational wealth and transform their communities.
So we created a pipeline to show them the way. It includes an online skills building platform, a league, and an apprenticeship program. I'm Eric Thomas.
And I'm Jaquita Thomas.
And we're co-founders of Pharaoh's Conclave, where we prepare youth for esports careers.
Good morning and welcome to all to our annual Father's Day brunch with a kick. This year we're virtual. My name is Dorian Mayer, Morehouse College class of 2008 and Vice President of the Houston Morehouse Alumni Association. I'm pleased to be sitting before you on this Juneteenth 2020, taking part in this amazing event that brings together so many men, friends, family, and supporters to honor remarkable Black men and fathers that continually impact our lives for the better. These men have strived to uphold and progress the legacy of the great institution that has so meticulously raised me as well as many of you, and it has molded us into the strong Black men that we are today. I hope that this program serves as a reminder that when we come together to honor, to excel, and to serve as Black men in this community, we are formidable forces that cannot be stopped. We have faced many trials and tribulations over the last year, as many of you know, but we must continue to use our light to help change the world and accept the challenge that is standing before us. That challenge is to lead. Now is the time, and we must lead. Please join me in leading, honoring, and applauding the strong Black men and fathers who have made an impact on society in Houston and in the world. And let us continue to serve and protect the house. Happy Father's Day 2020.
Hello, and welcome to our first ever virtual Father's Day brunch, simply titled Faces of Our Fathers. I'm HMAA Towers, Morehouse class of 1999, and I'm your virtual chair this year. Even though we're meeting virtually this year, it doesn't mean that we still can't take the opportunity to address and highlight two important factors that affect our society. Number one, the importance of a higher education, and number two, the importance of uplifting and highlighting our African American fathers in our community in Houston and across the world. Those are the two things we'd like to accomplish today with you in this virtual setting, because they are very important topics that we should not let go unnoticed. When I think about my younger years in high school and my desire to attend Morehouse, I didn't realize how much it would cost to attend college, particularly a college I wanted to go to so bad. Nor were my parents prepared for the amount of money needed to invest in my education. But with prayer, financial aid, summer employment, I was able to attend Morehouse College in 1995. My hope is that today and in the future, that any young male that wants to attend Morehouse College has that opportunity and that he is not discouraged by the financial commitment or burden that it takes. With tuition rates increasing threefold over the last few decades, it is equally as important that we all stay invested in our young African American men's success and their ability to go out into the world and do great things. The other important topic is Black fatherhood. On this day, Father's Day 2021, it is equally as important, quite frankly, even more important, that we recognize, highlight, and celebrate all the Black fathers that are out there doing the work that needs to be done. Raising Black families in our country is extremely difficult and is faced with unique challenges that most of us thought we'd never have to endure in this day and age. But the reality is those challenges are not going away tomorrow, and they're not going away next week. And even though they're not going away, it doesn't mean that we can't embrace our brothers today, uplift them, and continue to help push them forward to be positive role models we need in our society. We hope that this virtual experience today, that you will get an opportunity to, one, celebrate those men that are doing great things in the Houston community, but also celebrate those fathers or father figures that have shaped your life and who you are today. We hope that you enjoyed this show, and please continue to pray for our beloved Morehouse College, support young African American men that want to pursue a higher education, and continue to lift up our Black fathers. Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day edition with Gentleman Mar and Houston Morehouse Alumni Association.
Yes, sir.
We are here because we're going to celebrate the glorious and strong Black men that we have in our community. And because we weren't able to do the Father's Day brunch that we typically do in a setting with everyone due to COVID, we decided to go virtual this year.
And nothing's wrong with virtual. I mean, we've been doing it for the past year and a half, right? So we figured that everything doesn't have to be in person.
Everything does not have to be in person, but this brunch, they're going to get the brunch.
They're going to get the brunch. And as a thank you to those supporters, if you were participating at the brunch, at a level of Houstonite or above, all of you should have gotten most of these ingredients. You should have gotten a HMAA box. You should have gotten some equatorial coffee from some Morehouse alum as well. So we want to just say thank you, supporters. Everybody should have all the ingredients to do this fantastic brunch. But, just a quick shout out to Equatorial Coffee Consultants. So
tell us more about that.
So our Morehouse brothers, Delvin and Ade, class of 99, serial entrepreneurs. Right after college, they started a nonprofit. And these brothers have dibbled and dabbled in a lot of business ventures. Fast forward, 20 plus years later, they got into the coffee import business because they wanted to help farmers from South America, from Africa, have equitable and fair trade of coffee. So, I mean, who doesn't want ethical coffee, right?
Definitely want to drink fresh, ethical coffee.
I'm a coffee drinker, so I appreciate the fact that they were a huge sponsor for us for today's brunch, and everybody that got one of the boxes is going to get one of these as well.
Thank you. I wanted to congratulate everybody that's going to be incoming freshmen, from the city and cities across the nation, even worldwide, because Morehouse, we have met students from every nook and cranny.
Right.
The best of the best.
Right. And Morehouse isn't cheap.
Boy, don't we know it.
But I think that it's a blessing that our local chapter is going to give out scholarships upwards of, $20,000 total to students coming from Houston.
That is why we're here. That's why it's important, that we support the local chapters across the country so we can give back and support these students. And it's a blessing to be able to be a blessing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I love about our school and the culture? Is the camaraderie that we share, the brotherhood, the bond. It doesn't matter whether you are a current student or you've been out of the school for ages like ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter, from the old heads to the students that are still on campus, when we know that you're going through the process or have gone through the process, that bond just never breaks, man.
It never breaks.
All right.
But, one thing I'll say about brunch is, when I used to live in Atlanta, and even here in Houston, brunch is, I think, everybody's favorite meal. I mean, it's probably hard to dispute.
The brunch is so big now that there's a whole culture around it.
Right.
Where people like to find outside patios or great venues around the city to go to a brunch. Music is usually involved. So brunch has taken on a life of its own.
So we're having for brunch today a dish that I actually kind of stepped out of my comfort zone originally, because I don't know about you, when I would go to brunch, I get the same thing almost every time. Chicken and waffles or maybe pancakes. And then one day I went to a restaurant and I saw these eggs Benedict come out at the table. And it had, the poached egg on top. It had some brisket. And I was like, man, that looks really, really good.
Yeah.
And as much as I wasn't a fan of poached eggs at the time, I was like, I got to try this dish. I can't be a chef and not try stuff at least once, right?
At least once.
At least once. So I had this dish at a spot in Atlanta. And once I had those egg Benedicts, I was hooked. And I've learned across the country, depending on, the East Coast has a way of cooking, the South has a way of cooking. You can make this dish any kind of way. So we're doing an eggs Benedict flight that's going to appeal to the meat eaters,
right?
But also the pescatarians.
Okay.
And I've also done kind of a vegetarian eggs Benedict as well. But I think this is going to be a great dish that you can learn on your own. I'm actually creating kind of some accelerated processes to make it even faster. And I'm also going to show you a trick I learned from another chef on how to poach an egg without doing it the traditional way with boiled water and using vinegar to get that egg to set in the water. Okay. We're going to do it in the oven, actually.
What?
Yeah.
Eggs in the oven.
Eggs in the oven. And it's going to be super, super simple.
Okay. Sounds like some pregnancy trick in the oven.
So,
eggs in the oven.
Eggs in the oven.
Okay.
And to complement this dish, we're going to add
into a chicken.
It's going to turn into a poached egg in the oven. And we're actually going to have two, I would say, side items to make this look really beautiful on the plate. We're also going to have some smoked Gouda grits, cheese grits. Everybody likes cheese grits.
I love cheese grits.
Right? And we're going to have like a little side kind of salad. We got people on this brunch. You know, if you are vegetarian, you could omit, the dairy. If you like the creaminess, you can add milk. We're not going to use milk today. We're just going to use water and chicken broth.
Okay.
But, grits can be boiled in just plain water for those
Let's get to it.
Choose to.
Just know that I'm a guest today, so I'm here. I'm here for it.
You here for it? Okay. All right, so folks, we're gonna start off getting our grits started, right? And I got some stone ground grits that are really gonna give a nice texture to this. We're doing about a cup of grits, and we're also gonna do. I already have in the pot boiling. I have about 2.5 cups of water and 2.5 cups of chicken broth. Again, if you want to use milk, it's always in my book half and half. Yeah, 2.5 cups of water and 2.5 cups of chicken broth.
Got it.
We're gonna get this cooked and do this for about 20 minutes to get this going. And then once it's, I would say close to done, that's when we add the cheese and that's when we add the butter.
Okay.
And next I'm gonna show you this trick I was talking about earlier. So the eggs in the oven.
All right. You're about to pop eggs in there, just like that.
Just like this.
Raw eggs.
So we're going to basically poach these eggs in the oven, instead of doing them on the stove. There's way more technique involved on the stove. This is a very simple process. Now, I gotta ask, because everybody's egg preference is not the same. So poached eggs are runny, right?
Okay.
So this technique is going to give you that same poached kind of runny egg experience, but if you aren't into runny eggs, we can cook them a little bit longer, and it's almost like you ever had the sausage muffin with egg at McDonald's?
Yeah.
And it's like
a little gooey,
kind of like a hard-boiled egg, but kind of flat.
Right.
It'll kind of give you that kind of texture.
Gotcha.
So, are you a runny egg person?
Say no to runny.
Yeah. Okay. So since you're no to runny, I'm gonna do these for about 15 minutes in the oven. Now, for those of you that are watching, if you're runny, I would say you're gonna be about in the 13-minute range. Your oven should be on 350. And if you have a muffin pan, about this size, that's great. I would say don't go, with the large muffin pans. You want to get kind of the classic size. We're gonna sprinkle some salt and pepper on top, and we're also going to add some fresh herbs when this is all over. So don't fret. We're gonna take care of the flavor. These are gonna go into the oven. And for the sake of Sledge's preference, we're gonna do about 15 minutes. So we're gonna do kind of a salmon salad.
Okay.
Egg Benedict. So it's gonna have your English muffin. We're gonna create kind of a salmon salad with some pink salmon, wild caught. We're gonna add in there some red pepper, some cucumbers, some red onion, and we're gonna pile that up on top of the English muffin with a little bit of dressing as well.
Sounds delicious.
The other version we want to do is, I would say, kind of a Cajun-inspired eggs Benedict. So it's going to have andouille sausage on it. We're going to have the egg on top of it. We're going to have a hollandaise. I'm going to teach you how to make. By the way, you know what hollandaise is?
No.
So think of hollandaise as warm mayonnaise. Okay. Most people don't like warm mayonnaise, right. But for the purposes of eggs Benedict, you want to have a nice hollandaise sauce. And I'm going to show you a quick version to do that with some mayo. It's going to have some lemon juice, a little bit of kick with some cayenne. Okay. We want to strain in some warm butter and get that nice and liquefied.
So while you do that, wanted to talk about Gentleman Noir a little bit.
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, the people do have the instructions on this meal prep.
They got everything.
They got everything.
Everybody, if they got a box, they got an HMAA market box. They got all the instructions.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff we're doing, you probably prepped already, so you should be good to go.
Cool.
And I'm just kind of getting rocking and rolling. We can talk about Gentleman Noir.
With Gentleman Noir, we definitely want to highlight Black excellence. You know, there's so much that we are about, that we are into, that does not get highlighted. You know, we are fathers and great family men. We're astute. We like jazz. We like the arts. We're painters. We're athletes, mechanics, cooks.
Absolutely.
So many aspects of us, but doing it from the classic man's perspective, you know, the well-rounded man. So it is a publication. We are into the fine arts, and we also wanted to bring like niche type of events, very eclectic events to the communities, things such as wine and art, you know, and jazz and cigars, you know, roaring 20s themes, and have everybody get dressed up again. So that's the classic men, you know, from all eras. We stayed sharp no matter what it was that we're doing. The classic man, period. So that's what Gentleman Noir is about. I want to highlight that and leave something behind for the younger generation to aspire to look up to.
I like that.
You know, well-roundedness.
Well-roundedness, manly, worldly, all those things that Morehouse taught us, right?
Input it into us.
Absolutely. And we need to see more images like that too, I imagine. We're not getting enough positive, I would say, images of Black men, classic men, dressing well, learning how to accept and appreciate, you know, different art, you know, cigars,
absolutely,
you know, whiskey, you know,
cars.
Vintage cars,
yeah. And it's not just the dressed up now, because you can be dressed down as well, but your pants are right. There you go. You know, you can still have swag, whether it's casual or whatever. You know, just represent yourself very well. Put your best foot forward. Stay ready.
I got my eggs out the oven. So look at those beautiful oven poached eggs. We did 15 minutes for Sledge.
Thank you.
So they're not as runny. We're going to get these out. And I'm also going to start the salmon salad. Good, honey.
So while you do that, we wanted to say Happy Father's Day to
absolutely
all the fathers out there. You know, the end result of this will go directly into our stomachs. It's gonna be brilliant.
It's gonna be brilliant. It's gonna be brilliant.
I mean, this won't be the last time, right?
It better not be.
Okay.
Better not be.
We're having brunch for Father's Day. Obviously, want to support the Houston Morehouse Alumni Association.
Yep.
And I think it's time to dig in, bro.
Man, enough talking.
Okay.
So
you got your salmon eggs Benedict. You got your Gouda grits. You got a little salad on the side. That makes it brunch.
Yes.
Gives you a little healthy element to it. So he's gonna talk. I'm gonna enjoy my coffee, and I'm gonna go ahead and dig in myself. Are you enjoying that, brother?
Killed it.
So everybody that's been watching, hope you guys learned along the way and are enjoying the brunch with us. Thank you for supporting the Houston Morehouse
Happy Father's Day
Alumni Association. Thank you.
Greetings. My name is Sledge Leonidas, class of 2003. I'm honored to serve as the parliamentarian in our Houston Alumni chapter. I'm also a proud father of 5 beautiful children. Serving the community has been a great pleasure. I'm honored to introduce the Reverend Dr. Marcus D. Cosby, the 3rd child born to the late Mr. Rogers Cosby and Mrs. Bobby J. Cosby. Serves as the senior pastor of Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. A proud native of Chicago, Illinois, and a product of Emmanuel Baptist Church, where Dr. L.K. Curry serves as pastor, Cosby received the Bachelor of Arts degree in Religion and English from Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, the Master of Divinity degree in Homiletics and Christian Education from the Morehouse School of Religion and the Interdenominational Theological Center, ITC, in Atlanta, Georgia, and the Doctor of Ministry degree in Homiletics from Northern Baptist Theological Seminary in Lombard, Illinois. Dr. Cosby is married to the high school sweetheart, Mrs. Audrey Marie Cosby, and has been blessed with 3 beautiful daughters, Adrienne Marie, Ashley Marie, and Aaliyah Marie, and 2 sons, Marcus D. II and Matthew D. Cosby. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our honor to represent Dr. Cosby.
Greetings, beloved brothers of Morehouse College, the Houston Morehouse Alumni Association, and your families. What a joy it is for me to greet you on this day before Father's Day as you share together in this virtual scholarship breakfast. I am excited to be chosen to share with you for such a significant event, and I'm grateful to President Jennings for the opportunity to be a part of today's experience. I am, as many of you, a very proud father. I'm a father of 5, and I thank God for each of them. 2 of them are adults and have finished college. My alma mater, Fisk University, one gone on to get her graduate degree, and then 3 others who are 2 in high school, one just going to high school, and the other finishing up the 7th grade, heading into 8th grade. So I'm excited that God has gifted me with the very precious gift of children, and I know many of you are excited as well, and I'm grateful that you would come together on this weekend to share in the experience of fatherhood, even in a virtual way. I regret that this pandemic has left all of us separated from one another to the degree that it has almost gotten on our nerves that we can't get together the way we would like to. But I'm grateful that you have chosen not to skip this very important moment, but that you would come together as brothers and families and share in the experience of fatherhood this weekend. So to all the fathers, happy Father's Day to each one of you. May God continually bless you. May God continually use you as you continue to do the very best that you can, whatever age or stage your child or children may be. I want to talk to you just for a few minutes about fatherhood from varying perspectives. I say whatever age or stage your children may be. Certainly when you look at fatherhood from the biblical perspective, out of which I often look, you see fatherhood from adults to children, and you see fathers who struggle with the realities of fatherhood. And I want to pick out 3 fathers today, 3 fathers from the biblical narrative that really could be good Morehouse men. These 3 fathers have it going on. These 3 fathers are at the top of their game. They know what it means to have access to the best that this world can offer. These 3 fathers understood that they needed to help their children to become the people of God that God intended them to become. So I want to look from the Old Testament through the New Testament at 3 fathers. I promise I won't be before you long, but there are 3 fathers whose stories need to be uplifted as we think about how we can be better at our task of fatherhood. In the Old Testament, the very first book of the Bible, there's a brother named Abraham who has been gifted even in his old age with a son named Isaac. Genesis chapter 22 tells the story of this father Abraham and this son Isaac, his beloved son Isaac. And God has tested him, challenged him to take that son up onto a mountain to sacrifice him. That's interesting, the conversation that father and son have while they're going. Because I submit that while father and son are making their way up onto that mountain, We learn some things from the son as he has conversation with his father that his father has done already in his life. And I submit that if we're going to be good fathers who take care of our children in a way that allows them to grow and mature and develop, I submit that just as Abraham has done with Isaac, you and I need to develop our children comprehensively. Yes, brother, you need to develop your children comprehensively. I mentioned that this brother has it going on. Abraham has it going on. He's well paid. He's making sure that all the resources of his family are in order. He is doing what is necessary to develop his child. And you know it based upon the conversation. While he's going up with that child to sacrifice, his child says, "Father, I see the fire and the wood, but where is the sacrifice?" Clearly, Abraham has taught his son how to take care of day-to-day responsibilities. I see the fire, I see the wood, but where is the sacrifice? He has taught him how to maintain relationship with God. He has taught him how to sacrifice unto God, how to give offering unto God, how to be in right standing with God. And it is interesting what Abraham says back to his son. He says, "Son, the Lord will provide. The Lord will provide." May I suggest that while we're busy making sure that our children go to the right schools, while we're busy making sure our children are in the right children's organizations, may I suggest that while we make sure that we network with the right people to make sure our children have what is necessary for their advancement sociologically, or their advancement in their careers, and their advancement in their schooling, may I suggest that we likewise teach our children both reverence and reliance. Both reverence and reliance. That's a comprehensive development to make sure that we get everything necessary for our children to have what is good for them sociologically and academically, and even with regard to their careers when their careers begin. But as we develop our children, let's make sure they have reverence and reliance. It is necessary in a world like ours, in times like the ones in which we live, that our children not only have self-reliance, but they have reliance on the sovereign who is able to help them when they can't help themselves through their sociological advancements or their academic advancements or their career advancements. I submit that we cannot leave our children out of relationship with God. It is necessary that they have reverence and reliance. Develop your children comprehensively. But there's another brother in the New Testament. He's got it going on. He's got a great title in the community. He's well paid. He is called a synagogue ruler. He would be like the Dr. Joe Ratliff or the Dr. Tim Sloan of the Morehouse men, other pastors in our city who've got it going on from the Morehouse experience. But when you find this brother, he's got a situation with his child that needs to be taken care of. And he teaches us not simply to develop our children comprehensively, but to seek God's will for our children consistently. He tells us that we need to seek God's will for our children consistently. He's got a situation at the house he can't handle by himself. He's a synagogue ruler. He's well paid. He's got it going on. He could easily be a Morehouse man, but he's got a situation that his education or even his reverence for God can't take care of. His job title cannot get him out of this situation. His child, his daughter, is sick unto death. She's in a place where she can't help herself, and even with all of his advancements, the father, his name is Jairus, can't help her either. And so he seeks the divine. He goes to find Jesus, and he gets Jesus and brings Jesus back to the house after Jesus has consented, because I submit that our Jesus is not just for the sanctuary. Our Jesus is also the one who's supposed to meet us in our domiciles. We should invite him into our homes so that God's will for our children might be sought consistently. And that's what happens with Jairus and his unnamed daughter. So whether you're the father of a son like Abraham and Isaac, or you're the father of a daughter like Jairus and his beloved daughter who was sick, but Jesus came to the house to make sure that she could be revived even after her death. Whatever the situation may be, I submit, my dear brother, that you and I should seek God's will for our children consistently. Some of you know what it means to have a sick child. Some of you know what it means to have a child that's ailing physically. I know very well what it means to have a child ailing physically. My beloved fourth child, the second son of our 5 children, he was sick, very sick, for 50 days, hospitalized here in the Texas Children's Hospital. And while he was there, we kept having to seek God's will for our child, both physically and emotionally, because the physical reality took a toll on him emotionally. And I submit that all of us need to seek God's will for our children consistently. And God's will is that they thrive and prosper. But we've got to make sure that they are consistently experiencing God, not just in the church house. Many of us can't even get to our church houses, but likewise in our house. That's where the Lord showed up to make sure that Jairus knew he was on his side, and that God's will for his child would be that she would prosper. I close my little message to you, President Jennings and the Houston Morehouse Alumni Association, by reminding you to develop your children comprehensively and encouraging you to seek God's will for your children consistently. But I close when I tell you the best way to do that is to intercede for your children continually. Intercede for your children continually. I talked to you about Abraham and Isaac out of Genesis chapter 2, and I've tried to say a word about Jairus and his unnamed daughter in Mark chapter 5. But if we can go back to the Old Testament at Job chapter 1, it's the oldest book of the Bible, to be sure. And even though it is not at the beginning of the Bible, this book of Job teaches us some things about a man who had it going on. Did I mention he could be a Morehouse graduate? He could be a Morehouse man. He's got it going on. He's got wealth. He's got good health himself. He has reverence for God. He's doing all the right things. All the boxes are checked. He's got a wife and a bunch of children, boys and girls, male and female. And the Bible says that although they have their own houses, they are out of his house. They have their own houses. They're in a whole other stage of life. Job understands he's got to intercede for his children continually, not just in their developmental stages, not just when they're in their adolescent stages, not just when they are in college, but when they're grown and gone. You should still be interceding for your children continually. They had their own spaces, but he also knew that his children liked to party. And so he said, I'm going to pray for my children just in case they don't understand how to maintain contact with their creator. He interceded for his children continually. To be sure, they had to deal with devastation, even decimation. But Job understood it was necessary to keep on praying for his children. So as I close my message to you today, my brothers and the families of all the Morehouse alumni, may I submit to you that our God still answers prayer. Our God is still in complete control. And I'm so grateful that you looked over in 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas, and found a preacher who did not attend Morehouse College, but worked there for a year. I'm glad you found a preacher who went to Morehouse School of Religion down the street from Morehouse College. Thank you for allowing me to remind you of what you already should know. And that is, we as fathers who got it going on, who know that God has prospered us and favored us, need to develop our children comprehensively, seek God's will for our children consistently, and intercede for our children continually. May your prayers to God on behalf of your children continue to show favor in the days, weeks, months, and years to come. My brothers of Houston Morehouse Alumni Association, happy Father's Day, and may the peace of God be yours.
Hi, my name is Madison Riles, and I am Kevin Riles' daughter. And I am just so grateful to have a dad who is just as incredible as mine. He's had so much work in his life, and he's had so many trials and triumphs during my 18 years of life. However, he's always made me a priority, and he's always exemplified what it means to be successful and driven, and I aspire to be just as successful and driven as him. So thank you so much, Dad. And now I'm going to read my essay. Kevin Riles is known as a dear and loyal friend to many, a devoted son to few, a dedicated husband to one, and the best father to a solo child, me. Upholding the epitome of fatherhood, my dad is everything a father should be. While the dictionary may define father as a male parent, in my opinion and value system, the role carries so much more weight. This cursory definition has so many more implications than the minimum number of words to define it. As I approach my 18th year of life, I have reflected upon what my father has done for me and how his influence in my life is worth its weight in gold. How my father is as great of a father as he is exceeds my understanding. Growing up without the presence of his father, he was not reared by his own father, yet he managed to exemplify an outstanding character of fatherhood. My father has been present, purposeful, and persistent in his rearing of me. Since I was born, my father's presence has been felt. From changing my first diaper to coaching my softball and basketball teams to taking me on college tours, my father has been purposeful. When he engages in conversation with me, he looks me in the eye with intentionality and meaningfulness. He never hesitates to edify me by posting me on social media and my recent accolades and achievements, even though sometimes it's very embarrassing and I'm not the biggest fan of it. My father has been persistent with encouraging me to pursue my passion and live out my dreams. Our frequent discussions about the world and how to contribute to society keep me focused on being what he has been and continues to be to me, present, purposeful, and persistent in being who God has called me to be, an exemplary child of Kevin Riles.
I wanted to thank the Houston Morehouse Alumni Association for honoring me as Father of the Year. I am totally surprised, totally honored. I've been going to this since the inception, and I just would have never thought that I would have been one of the folks that have honored as Father of the Year. Out of all the blessings of awards I've been able to accomplish in my life, this is by far very high on the list. I got this degree up here 26 years ago, and just never knew how much of a blessing Morehouse would be and the brotherhood would be. So thank you, fellas. I really do appreciate that. I want to thank two people in this. I want to thank, first and foremost, my wife. She is the best wife. I married way above my pay grade. She is the reason that I am a father. And to be honest with you, she does and has done and will continue to do probably a lot of the heavy lifting in the raising of Madison. So I would be remiss not to first and foremost thank Cher for loving me, loving Madison, being the rock in our family, being the caretaker and the nurse and the counselor for both me and Madison. So thank you, baby. I really, really, really love you. And second of all, obviously, I have to thank my beautiful, beautiful, awesomely wonderful and talented daughter who happens to be going to, and that's why I wore this, Spelman College. Never would have thought 18 years ago, she just turned 18, that not only would she have accomplished all that she's accomplished, she graduated as of today, She literally graduated this morning. I'm taping this in the afternoon, so I have a lot of emotions about this, but just how wonderful she is and beautiful she is and smart and funny. And so I read the essay about me being purposeful and persistent and things of that nature. And I'm just so blessed to know that, just a small part of her is a part of me. And I just am thankful for this opportunity to be her father. She did mention that I grew up for a lot of my life without a father. And so I promised myself two things: that I would be an awesome husband, or try to be, and be an awesome dad. And that essay let me know that I've done some of that and hope to continue to do it over her lifetime. So, brothers, thank y'all for this honor. I love Cher, and I love me some Baby Bear Madison.
Hi, I'm Edward Pollard, Houston City Council member and proud Morehouse College graduate, class of 2007. I'm honored to receive the Albert James Price Senior Community Service Award from the Morehouse College Houston Alumni Association. Representative Price lived a life that was dedicated to the service of others, a life of leadership and a life of impact. We are taught at Morehouse College to get our education and then return back to our communities to affect change in a positive way and impact the lives of others in all ways possible. It is in this spirit that I received this award to carry on the rich legacy of an institution of higher learning that produces more leaders per capita than any other entity in the world. Since it's Father's Day, I will accept this on behalf of my children, EJ and Nadia. Thank you again, and may God bless you all.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's my pleasure to be here with you today to celebrate fatherhood, to recognize leadership in our community, and most importantly, to raise money for scholarships for young men from the Houston area to attend Morehouse College. It's my honor to be a sponsor of this event, and I want to thank each and every one of you who served as sponsors or who bought tickets to attend today, so that a generation of young men can be blessed by what Morehouse has to offer. And more importantly, so that our society can be blessed by what Morehouse graduates have to offer. Now, I'm being honored today because of the work of thousands of Houston area folks who work to protect democracy right here in Houston and Harris County in 2020. And I'm very proud of what our team accomplished. We took painstaking steps and risks and bold moves to ensure that the 2.5 million registered voters right here in Harris County could cast ballots in 2020 and could do so, could participate in our democracy safely, but also conveniently and with the peace of mind that their votes would be counted. We set many firsts in Texas last year. We offered drive-through voting for the first time in the history of Texas. We offered 24-hour voting for the first time in the history of Texas. And we tripled the number of early voting centers so that you, regardless of who you are or where you are in town, would be 3 times as likely to have a voting center near your home, near your place of business or place of worship, or near your child's school. And the results of our efforts spoke for themselves. Nearly 130,000 people cast their ballots through drive-through voting centers alone. When we kept the polls open overnight, nearly 15,000 people came out and cast ballots at times where oftentimes this was the only time that they could vote because they're working as welders and electricians out at the Port of Houston, stocking shelves at Kroger or HEB and getting off at 2 or 3 in the morning. First responders who get off routinely at 5 and 6 a.m., or doctors and nurses who are working around the clock to save lives. We gave them, if only on one night, the opportunity to have a fair say, an equal say in participation in our democracy. But big picture, we set records. The most people who had voted in any county in any election ever, nearly 1.7 million of our neighbors. And so, again, I am so proud of what we were able to accomplish. But the fight is certainly not over, and it is truly just beginning. Because from the moment on November 3rd, when those elections were called, and of course over the coming days, we have seen attack after attack on our democracy, on the right of people to vote, to exercise that most fundamental right that's guaranteed by our Constitution. And it's happening right here in Texas. And so I'm proud of the legislators who are standing up, who made sure that voter suppression laws did not pass in Texas this past legislative session. But we have so much more to do, because the folks on the other side of this fight are not giving up. And so we need to double down and dedicate ourselves to making sure that what we believe in, this American democracy, this project that's barely 200 years old, has a place in history that will continue, so that our kids, so that these young men who are about to attend Morehouse have a country that they can be proud of, that they can participate in, and that they can choose the direction that we're going. And so again, I thank you for honoring me, but I also want to make sure that we thank the hundreds of county employees who worked alongside me, and the more than 11,000 volunteers who stepped up to ensure and protect democracy here in November of 2020. We all know that over the heads of her students, Morehouse holds a crown that she challenges us to grow tall enough to wear. And of course, we all still have a ways to go to make the impact that we can have on this planet. But by you all honoring me today, it feels like I'm growing just a little bit taller. And so thank you all so much. Thank you to the Houston Alumni Association, but most of all, thank you to Mother Morehouse for doing what you did for me and for so many others, and ultimately for our society. Y'all have a good one. Happy Father's Day.
Greetings. My name is Burt Jennings, and I'm from the Morehouse class of 1991. I'm proud to serve in the Houston Morehouse Alumni Association as Program Director and Senior Advisor. I am thankful for my education at Morehouse and the enlightenment I received there. Morehouse continues to be a citadel of social change, an enclave of educational excellence, and a fortress of future promise. We'd like to thank our sponsors, donors, and everyone who participated today. To all of the fathers out there, happy Father's Day to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Brothers,
dear old Morehouse, dear old Morehouse, we have pledged our lives to thee, and will ever, yea forever, give ourselves in loyalty. True forever, to old Morehouse may we be. So to bind each son the other into ties more brotherly. Holy Spirit, make us steadfast, honest, true, to old Morehouse